emphasize lessons so I could become the heartbeat of righteousness, the everyday fight to pump the blood of kings, breathe the breath of life, moving up like Confederates in Yankee territories in the 17th century. But it's a thin line between divinity and iniquity. Mason Dixon hitting in complacent decisions, division between symptoms of a phenom and a psychopath, gifted and asinine. I won't erase that vertical line on an incline that divides them. Climbing out this box in my mind, it's like having altitude sickness on alpine expedition. Genius vision never fixed in on the depth below. Focus on elevation where others never dare to go. And brainiacs ain't contained in that receptacle. Incredible creative energy becomes perceptible. The cerebral can be an evil alter ego or true pal, and you shall become legendary and futile. Development of a god. I sleep between dates on the calendar. Can't escape a date with a challenger. Now that's a blind date in the field division, but my other senses reveal I'm winning. Yeah. The thin line, thin line, thin line. Mastermind, mind of the master. Which one of you after? Thin line, thin line, thin line. Mind of a god, mind of a captive. Which one of you after? Thin line, thin line, thin line. Mastermind, mind of the master. Which one of you after? Thin line, thin line, thin line. Mind of a god, mind of a captive. Which one of you after?
Welcome to the green side of things. It's your man Sadeek
and Cassiopeia.
And we need you to like,
comment,
and share.
That thing.
We need you to do it right now, and join us around the lunch table. Come on in here. Come on in the room, as Tabitha Brown would say. We need you to join us at the lunch table. Cassiopeia.
What's up?
My friend.
How are you?
My sister.
Yes,
How
my
was
brother.
How was your weekend?
My weekend was good. We took the kids
Uh-oh.
downtown Sunday.
Y'all didn't loot, did you?
So was there stuff happening? Right? It was stuff going on. We so clueless sometimes.
Oh, okay. So y'all didn't. Okay, so that's
No,
good.
we
Well, go
didn't.
ahead.
But
We'll
when we
just-
were on the train,
I'm
though,
just
we was
kidding.
like, man, it sure is a lot of shorties on the train right now. It was these two girls that was on there. I mean, they was talking so reckless. They was like, one girl was like, girl, listen, I can't be getting arrested because my mama ain't gonna bail me out.
Oh,
It's
wow.
like, damn.
Well, see, that's why I asked, right? Because I know how responsible you all are as parents. So I know if the kids were going to go loot, you wouldn't let them go by themselves. So that's why I asked.
You know.
I know how responsible you are.
You know.
That this is another lesson. You have to have good parenting.
You gotta have that.
So, yeah, you got to have that.
I'm sure if we let Koya go by herself,
Oh, she was going, she
all the baby sharks,
lighted all up.
all the Achilles, all of the
Whatever it
Cocomelon
is.
paraphernalia be gone.
No doubt.
But all she did was take flowers, like you on Michigan Avenue.
Uh-huh.
And they got the
She took the flowers.
Oh,
so
yeah.
you all did do a little bit of looting. But it was parentally supervised.
Yeah, we might have grabbed them for her.
See, we growing.
And given
We growing
to
as a
her.
people.
But we had a really good time. We walked to the train station.
Oh, wow.
Took the train.
Okay. That's a big one.
And then walked from like Chicago and Michigan all the way to the Portillo's, which is on like what? Dearborn or
Something like
Wabash
that,
or something
yeah.
like that. And then walked back.
That's nice.
So it was a good exercise,
That's nice.
Yeah, it was fun. We had a good time. Koya, MJ, they had a great time.
Okay, that's wonderful. That's
Yeah, it
wonderful.
was funny.
I'm glad. So
Koya
just
went
on
to
the
eat
record,
everybody's food.
parentally supervised looting on the weekend. Beautiful.
And then Dre's grandmother, it was her birthday.
Was she looting too, or it was a multi-generational? Grandma was down
Nah,
there
they ain't playing
ripping
that.
up flowers.
This was a COVID safe backyard party. Keep your mask
nice.
on.
Please keep it on.
The whole time.
Okay.
Grandpa James was like, hey. I don't know what y'all talking about over there.
Uh-huh.
I got my shots.
Gotcha.
Who in here got their shots?
Wow.
Put your mask on.
Wow.
Put your mask back on.
No shot, need a mask.
Yeah, he wasn't playing.
Matter of fact, just put your mask on anyway. Even if you had a shot, it doesn't matter.
Put
It
it
doesn't
on.
matter. Put the mask
Keep
on.
it on.
Hey, we see you all out there.
Yes.
YouTube, Facebook Live. Shout out to everybody.
What up, my queen?
Boosie, Sabrina. Yeah.
Sabrina, what's happening?
Peace. We need you all to go ahead to like, comment, and share the conversation. We want to chop it up with you guys today. We're looking forward to it. Hope you had a great weekend as well. I understand the weather was pretty nice in Chicago.
Yeah, it was nice Saturday and Sunday.
I was out of town, so
sorry.
Yeah.
Was it nice in Cleveland?
No, it was cold.
Sorry.
It was windy. So like kind of whatever has happened in Chicago,
like,
Cleveland gets it a little later.
Is Lake Michigan still above there? Is that like
yeah,
Erie?
Lake Michigan is a bit above, and then you got so it's crazy. Yeah, it was nice, but it was I just want to say Thursday show was awesome. Thank you so much.
It was amazing.
Appreciate it, and all out there.
Thank y'all
that tuned in. It was just really nice to have the support in the viewership. What's funny?
Janessa said it's called pinching.
Oh, talking about the
you
the
pinch a flower or two or a root or three.
Okay. So it's called pinching. So next time I will wink ask instead of did you loot? Did you all pinch?
Just pinched a couple of tulips.
The next time they pinch the whole downtown area, I'll be asking.
The yellow tulips were amazingly fragrant.
Oh, got it.
Yeah.
So
you like, girl, you don't shut up.
No. I just want to thank everybody for tuning in Thursday.
Yeah, it was crazy.
For your support, for our community, for our brothers and sisters that are in Israel with the deportation notices. We thank you for paying attention, and the many calls and emails that have come in since then. We really appreciate it.
Yeah, how does it go? Is there anything?
We will have an update. We don't have an update right now. It's about spreading the word and controlling our narrative, just what we do here on Wiftable Media, telling our story that comes from us to us, and not allowing other people to tell the narrative from their point of view. We thought it was important to get to the Wiftable media audience across the planet, because we have a Wiftable media audience across the planet.
We do. We global, baby.
We global. It's not just Chicago. It's just not, it's not Gary. It's just not the Twin Cities, but it's Indiana, it's Michigan, it's Florida, Atlanta, D.C., California. Yeah, it's South Africa, Kenya, it's Ghana. Yeah, so we have quite an audience.
I got a question.
Go ahead, please.
Is the audience on Mars?
I'm not going there with you. You can ask me that question later.
Ron,
so
Ron, what you think, Ron?
They just got me heated. Talking about space travel. Yeah, this is a gas up session, you all. Cassie is gaslighting right now. So I just want to say that. That's why she's smiling so hard.
Ron.
Yeah, Ron, what's up? Our super producer, LaRon Rilla in the house. What's up, bro?
What's going on, y'all?
Yo, what's up?
Chilling. Thinking about this space trip.
Yeah, man. I mean, I heard there's going to be like an all civilian, trip to space. Some really, really rich, I'm sure, white guy. He got his ticket, and I think he paid for 3 or 4 other people to go. And it's going to be automated. So he was talking about would you take a trip? Would you take that trip into outer space? And then Sadeek was like, no, expletive, whatever that word is, exclamation point, @ $, hashtag.
Yeah, they set the Sadeek meter off with the whole...
Going and screwing up the rest of the universe. We had screwed up this planet. All we gonna do is go out there and screw up another one, which is true.
And let's be clear. When I say we, I mean them. I want to be real clear. So my stance on space exploration is real simple. We, whichever one, Motisa, I don't know who you define with, but we are destroying this planet. So until we learn how to take care of this one, I don't want to hear nothing about Mars or another planet. Let's deal with the planet we got. But that's a whole nother story.
Would y'all go out and explore space, please?
Yeah, who
please
out there wants to drop that?
comments.
What is it? How much is the ticket?
Yeah, I think it's either $1 million or $100 million just to get
Yeah, let's just say it's a cool meal. You willing to drop that to go into outer space, take some of that diabetes and heart disease with you, treat Mars to a little global warming. whatever you want to take with you, just chime in the comment section.
It's like Marvel. It's like Marvel and DC. Like that's always the thing. All of these different aliens come to our planet because they done destroyed every other planet they've been to.
I think that right, exactly. I think they're telling a story about themselves. Yeah. But anyway, if you're willing to go into space, I think Ryan was up for it. He wants a window seat. You know what I mean? He wants to see as we pass Pluto. And,
what was that horrible movie that premiered on Netflix?
Medea Goes to Jail?
No, Negro. It was a NASA
Boo.
movie. It was a space travel
Medea
movie.
3.
Dre made me watch it.
Medea Goes to
fell
Mars.
asleep on it, and I was pissed. There was so much racism, and it was so much subtle racism in this movie. It's
subtle
horrible.
Racism, leading me to my next point.
It was kind of like one of them, literally this movie. I gotta find the name of this movie. I'm gonna find it. If y'all figure it out, all I gotta do is push continue watching. I'm looking on my
Hey, you all, please continue to comment, and share. What's happening, Sandy? We see you dropping into the audience. Again, we appreciate you all. Cassie is looking for a horrible space exploration movie.
It just came out on Netflix.
I think it's Medea Goes to Mars. Huh? Just in terms of content. No, that's not it? Okay.
Shut up.
But it only has subtle racism in it.
I'm going to figure it out. But this movie was Stowaway.
Stowaway. I didn't see it.
First of all, how can you stow away in a spaceship?
White person or black person?
A black person.
Got past security and got on
He was an engineer. Mm-hmm. And they found him because the lady looked up and his blood dripping. It's only three researchers on this spaceship.
So he didn't make it, huh?
So there's blood dripping and they have to unscrew the panel. She like, where's this blood coming from? Unscrews the panel. Big black guy falls up out of it. He's still alive.
Okay.
They nurse him back to health. But then the whole goddamn movie is about there's not enough oxygen because it's a 2-year space exploration.
And he set the person to oxygen ratio off.
And so he's got to go. The whole movie is about
killing the black guy.
Killing this guy.
Well.
I was like, what? I was livid throughout this movie. Like, this is the most, first of all, and then he wakes up and he's like, wait, I was fixing something. And now he's like, where am I? It didn't take off, did it? They was like, yeah, you all the way in outer space on the damn. And then he first panics and freaks out. Okay. And then they're like, what happened? And he was like, I was fixing something.
Okay.
Who screwed him into the actual body of the ship? So somebody had to screw his ass up, and he didn't screw himself from the outside.
This is the point of the movie where you have to literally, it's called suspension of belief. I think movie buffs, this is the point where you have to ignore the really simple things in a plot that actually could not have happened in the plot.
No, not when he's the only black person and they're literally talking about killing him.
No, that's what I mean. I'm saying who screwed him in? Like they skipped all over that. Right?
Yeah, so, it's some bull.
But you're just supposed to go along with it.
And then the Asian dude tells him.
Did they kill him?
No, they didn't.
There's an Asian guy on there?
Yes.
But he got some air, right? I guess they stopped the Asian hate.
He's making... They definitely did.
They stopped the Asian hate.
He's making
Was he the engineer?
He was no. He was like a
violin player,
an environmental scientist that was trying to get oxygen out of algae, and this is how they were going to even carry on more oxygenation. And then once they got to Mars, figure out how they were going to use the algae to be able to, so you can survive on Mars with this algae. But his stuff started dying, so he didn't have enough. And then they had to do some ridiculous things to go find more oxygen, and the white girl ends up sacrificing herself.
Is this a new movie? Because people are actually commenting that they were watching it, and
spoiler alert.
They rationed, so they all made it then, right? The black guy, the Asian guy.
No, there was 4 people. The captain was the main one.
Don't spoil it.
Okay.
Don't spoil it.
Don't spoil it.
You all spoil
Gee,
it.
it's so much right. I'm like, it was unbelievable. It was like he was just a straight up house Negro that they was like, we just got to get rid of him.
Wow. Get rid of the house.
Because there's no going back.
Got you. And he was sucking up the air.
For me, why we going back? To me, that was my thing. Go back. You all are gonna, because y'all just have to complete this mission, screw his whole life.
Yeah, well, that makes for a good movie.
Gee. Angry.
All right, let me ask you a question.
I was glad I watched it to the end.
Let me ask you a question.
But it was the most racist thing ever.
And listen, you all, this is imaginary. So since you threw me off, I got about 3 topics here before I get to the main course.
It was written by a South American dude, but go ahead.
I believe it. So you all are out there. We got.
Now we getting racism from South Americans. I can't deal. I'm sorry.
Look, you all out here. Is the subtle racism in the movie, but let's say it was reversed. Mm-hmm. Let's say the captain of the ship is black. 2 other people is black. The Isley brothers are playing. We're in space. And the door thing opens. And it's a white guy.
Right.
And he's not counted into the oxygen ratio. What we doing, Rod? Cassie, you the captain of the ship. We turning around.
We're turning around.
And we're on our way to Black Mecca. It's a new planet that when you enter the atmosphere, they play stepping music and hip hop.
We can't wait to get
It's a new species of chicken that tastes extra good when you fry it on this planet.
I can't with you.
Are we turning around to take this? Right, we turning around to take the white guy home.
You might just have to throw him overboard.
Damn. Walk the plank.
Janessa, are we turning around? Janessa, you the captain of the ship.
Janessa said part 2 will be called "What Will They Do with the Negro?"
What? But let's reverse it. The white guy falls out the thing. We on the ship. Are we letting him in? What you doing? You the captain, Janessa. Are you Cassie already? She turning around.
I'm turning around. This is terrible. I don't want I'm not gonna do things and end up being just like them.
Okay.
So,
all right. I like that.
But it was crazy.
Okay.
I was so mad. We was watching it late at night too.
Okay. I mean, it's other people out there listening. We need you to like, comment, and share.
Please
Join
do.
the conversation. I need to know what some of you all would do. Kenneth Steele,
snap.
what would you do? Sandy's out there. Boosie, what you doing? I didn't see it.
I just saw who's entering into the conversation.
Oh yeah, it's gonna be a good one today. It's gonna be a good one today, y'all. Look, I didn't. We tried something new. It's Surprise Tuesday. Cassie had no idea. And I gave her the option. I said, "Do you want to know who we talking to today?" She said, "No, let me see if I can make it." So she did an excellent job.
Man, we gonna talk some good. Listen,
Hey, Kenneth said that devil is getting ejected. So on that ship, the white boy's not gonna make it. Janessa said, "Nope, he's on his own." However, he got there.
Rod is like he gone.
He gone. So Cassie is extremely. Your spiritual work is doing real well. Because Cassie just avoided every American Negro tendency to let the white boy die. She turned
You
around.
asked me 3 years ago.
No. I'm gonna ask you Thursday. I want you to have time to think about it. But listen to this, you all. So Cassie and I have been on a quest to find racism across the planet.
To the moon.
And so far, according to Prince Harry and the royal family, there is no racism in the palace.
Right.
And then we've also found upon discovery, we did some research, there's also no dental plan in the palace.
It's just Europe, period.
Yeah. So they're a little light on dentistry, and so this is this is serious business, right? We're not poking fun. It's just like saying black people run fast. We do, and they're light on dentistry. So apparently there is no racism in the palace. Mm-hmm. There are very few dental plans. There's no dental plan in the palace, and very few in Europe, period.
What are you trying to say?
And now,
Are you telling me you don't like my teeth?
Yes, that's what I'm saying.
What's wrong with him?
You have a spot. It's not a spot of
spot?
tea. Yes, a spot.
I have a spot on my teeth.
Yeah. Yes, absolutely. So, Ron, check this out. There's no racism in the palace, right? But apparently, there's no racism in America.
Listen.
So, for those of you, I want you to understand that from the new leadership at the helm for all black people in America, speaking on your behalf, the Vice President, Kamala Harris, has declared that America is not a racist nation.
Jesus.
And and Jesus either. And what I want us to do is to be very balanced when we have this discussion, because apparently it is becoming harder and harder, and this may be to our advantage, right? And I could be missing it in some instances, so I'm willing to listen.
Like literally during the Derek Chauvin case, like 2 or 3 more black people got killed.
Yeah,
from police brutality. But there's no more racism in America.
No. I wanna be fair. Yeah, I don't want to misquote the Vice President.
I'm listening.
Her quote was, America is not a racist country. However, we should be aware of America's racist past. I have the quote right here.
So,
hold on.
I'm confused.
Hold on, because I want to ask you all. I'm a fairly
like
intelligent
the very recent
man.
past, like last week.
I'm gonna read her quote. Okay. And let's address her properly. Vice President Harris. That's for all of you all out there. Let's stop with this Kamala business.
Like they did with Barack.
She is right. She is your vice president.
They wouldn't call him president.
Right. She is
Obama.
your leader.
Not related to y'all.
What'd you say?
Not related to y'all.
You not
Right.
related to her?
Okay. She said that America is not a racist country, but the nation must speak truth about its history with racism. That's what she said.
That sounds like some Trump writing right there, boy.
Isn't that it is now is that
She read that script and she had to swallow something.
is that political? Is that political
When
speak?
she read that, hell yeah, that's political speak.
No, I mean real talk. Is that political speak? Is because my question is, again, I'm working these days to be extremely fair and balanced. I don't want to, because she is a black woman.
Uh-huh.
She has had black woman experiences. She went to a historically black university. And, you know, my assumption is that she has black issues.
And she's been men in blacked. Whoop. She forgot all of that. They was like,
neuralized.
Yeah. Whoop. Now
Look
say
right
it.
here.
Yes. Whoop. And then they said, read the script. And it was real easy because she didn't remember.
She didn't remember. So she read a script. What do you all think out there in the audience?
We all know that they got writers.
Is that, Ron, what do you think? Political speak? Do you think that's what she really meant, or she was being extremely political?
She's, of course, they being political. Of course, she's being extremely political.
She not retarded.
So we shouldn't even hold her accountable for that statement, then, right?
I mean, say all that.
Okay. I'm asking.
Right.
No. So,
Unless she's not in her own body no more. And you know they say that happens with some celebrities. That's my gossip. This is clearly gossip.
right? Because half of them are aliens anyway.
That they're like not real anymore. Like once you get to a certain like level, and then like because they got like a whole thing on YouTube of like
They on the other planet.
It's like the glitch. It's called like this glitch where like you'll see like certain celebrities if they're in interviews and they'll just like blank out. And then they'll do like this and then like come back. And they showed like I think they showed Charles Barkley do it.
Let's be clear. That was Barkley's diabetes.
They showed a bunch of them.
The other ones might have blanked out, but that was Barkley's diabetes. His sugar got low, and then he
Boosie.
came back.
I'm sorry, Boosie. You're right. I won't say that word anymore.
What did we say?
She is.
What we can't say, Boosie?
I'm not gonna say it again. You got to read it.
Oh, okay. All right, we won't say that.
Somebody.
We decided that on Maisie's show. Okay, Boosie, let's just say this.
Somebody is.
No, I'm not gonna do that.
Like Delayed? Is that okay?
Yeah, delayed is fine. I think it is. What is it today? What's the new term today, y'all, for people that are 2 seconds behind real time?
See, and I'm not talking about those people.
We're not talking about We're talking about people that's being
that have clear conscience and ability and have comprehension abilities.
Got you.
They are being slow on purpose.
Okay, guys. So look, we got a couple minutes before we go to break. Actually, a minute and a half. We're going to talk a little bit about, has America moved past racism, right? Because we have a black senator, the vice president. No, this is real talk, because inside of the conversation of George Floyd, inside of all the conversations across the country, right? I find it extremely interesting that at high levels, at the very point where people are feeling very open about expressing how they feel about the country, there is a narrative saying that we're actually past racism. And it is not a very definitive, not a maybe, let's go into it, that America is not a racist country. So we want to be fair and balanced. We're going to start there today. We're going to talk about, and what's the goal? What's the goal for Black America in general? And then where we're headed. It's a new jar of Kool-Aid. So listen, you all, we need you to like, share, and comment. And we're going to bring on with us community activists, right? Community thought leader, right? And someone who's in the trenches every day. We're going to bring in our brother, Roland Davis. From Project 5000 and many others. You know him from the 79th Street corridor, where he walks up and down as the mayor of 79th Street with his Cheetos and White Castles from the Bob Beard Center. So we bringing back our brother, Roland Davis, when we get back. It's Sadeek
and Cassiopeia.
You're on the green side of things. We'll see you on the other side of this break.
WIIFTBPM. WIIFTBP. Media's just for you and me. WIIFTBP. Media's just for you and me.
You're listening to I Said What I Said with Toussaint Warner and Herb Howard.
What are y'all takes on blended families?
Meaning white people? Or what? No, she mean like you got kids, this person got kids, y'all get together and bring the whole family together. I don't know. I have zero experience with it. I imagine it could be challenging. Especially, I think the older the children are, I think the more challenging it could be. I think if it's little children or something, you can kind of explain it to them, and they may like grow up together and kind of in that same space where this is mom, this is dad type thing. But if you talk about older kids where they literally have a mom or dad, another person like that has been in their lives, when they're older, and you're like, oh, now this is your stepbrother, stepsister. Like, nah, we like 17. Like, I'll bone her.
And if this family don't work, you can just give me to the game anyway. Ain't no other, it ain't gonna matter. No woman will ever be important. I'm not being an ass. I'm serious. In my mind, the value of that kind of a commitment is family. I got that already. So now we just chilling. So you ain't gonna really know my children.
What's up, good people? You're listening to I Said What I Said with Toussaint Warner and Herb Howard, live on What's In It for the Black People Media, Monday, Wednesday, Friday, 1 p.m. to 3 p.m.
Since 2018, nearly 3,000 tax credit scholarships have been awarded to Black students in Illinois to attend private schools that best fit their needs. Now, Governor Pritzker wants to slash this program. In a time of much uncertainty, we need greater equity in education for our families and children, not less. Call your state representative and senator and urge them to stand up for our kids and their future by supporting the Tax Credit Scholarship Program. For more information, visit empoweredillinois.org.
too many times, baby. And if I'm being honest, yeah, I can tell, girl, that you want this, yeah, but I can only wait for so long, girl. Giving us both some space so we can see, but don't make this too hard, yeah, 'cause I still want you right next to me, girl, it's plain to see, yeah, don't play with it, baby, life's too short, gotta make a decision, yeah, it's time to make up your mind, girl, you gotta make up your mind, girl, you don't have to say a word, writing's all over your face, yeah, you don't have to hurt no more, just give me your love, you don't hold back and let it go, but I'ma only wait for so long, girl, giving us both some space so we can see, but don't make it too hard, yeah, 'cause I still want you right next to me, girl, it's plain to see, yeah, oh, baby,
Yes, yes. Welcome back to the green side of things. It's your man Sadeek.
Cassiopeia.
Yes, and we are back today, and we're gonna need somebody to cut down that background music. Sound. I don't know who that is with the reverb. I got it. I'm just giving him. We are on the green side of things. Listen, you all. We need you to like,
Comment.
and share.
That thing.
We need you to do it right now. We are on here with a Chicago stalwart. This young man is born and raised in Chicago and has cut his teeth. He's gone to Southern Illinois University. He is a man of the cloth, or as we call it, a member of Kappa Alpha Psi Fraternity Incorporated. He is he's been involved in everything from business to politics. This man actually sold me my first house. So this brother, we go way back. I appreciate him taking time out to be with us today. We want to talk about, and he has experienced less racism than most because he's lighter than Cassie.
I can't.
And can blend in at the table with most white people. So everybody, please welcome to the show my man, my friend, activist, businessman, and thought leader. I consider him Mr. Roland Davis. Roland, can you hear us?
I'm happy, excited to be here. What's up, Cassie?
What's up, Ro? Oh my God.
Good.
The stalwart.
I'm trying to figure out, before we go any further, how I can get a cool background like y'all instead of this wall. That's not cool background.
We are at the What's in It for the Black People Media Studio. So
We gotta get you cleared through upper management.
I get it. It's all making sense.
Oh, okay. So Roland, before you joined us, we were having this conversation, and I want to take it for all it's worth because I think it's something that's happening across the planet. In all seriousness, we get these statements, and maybe this is why we can't find racism. A few months ago, Prince, I believe it was Harry, was asked, about racism.
Yes.
In the palace, and he said that the royal family was not a racist family at all.
Zero racism.
So there's no racism in the palace. And then we come across the pond, or the water, so to speak, and the vice president of America was asked, was America a racist nation? And she emphatically said America was not a racist nation. And so in seriousness,
I'm sorry.
Oh, I'm sorry. You fell asleep on your Chucks and Pearls.
Yeah.
So in all seriousness, I wanted to ask the question and see the value of it so that we can have a discussion. Have we moved past racism in America? Are we in a non-racist era? Or you had to shut the door on this one, huh?
I'm trying to make my background racist.
You look great.
Well, thank you.
Your head is in good view, Ro.
Okay, that's all I'm trying to make sure. All right. Did you want me to answer that? Or?
Yes, please.
Well, personally, certainly I understand that racism is real here in America. I think that it really depends on what point of view that you're looking at it from. I would suggest that Prince Harry is not living inside of our reality. Maybe from the ivory tower and the lack of black people in his circumference, he wouldn't even really get a chance to experience racism at that level. So maybe for him, it isn't. I do think that here in America, and this may not be popular for me to say this, but I do think that racism is on the decline. That doesn't mean that there's a lack of hatred from certain people against our race, but it does mean that in terms of policies, procedures, and things that really make the difference, if you will, in our ability to move from where we are as a people to the next level, I do think that there is a decline in public policies that are racist. And of course, I haven't done any research on that, but just from what I can see on the outside.
Okay. I'll go with that. Cassie, did you want to add something to that? I saw your.
I can't argue it. At the particular moment, because I don't have the actual numbers either in regards to the different policies. I don't know if there's like maybe policy is on a decline, but then now brutality is rising up. I think we'd have to kind of look at all the numbers of like how many, black people are imprisoned right now. How many black people, have been able to get, particular, employment opportunities, how many of them have been able to get housing, how many been able to get actual loans, grants, all those different things, all those different factors as well. Just and compare them since, from all the way back to slavery.
Got it. I in a situation in slavery, but you never know.
The reason why I say that is because like we talk about, what is it? It was was it 13? That movie that came out in Netflix. It just talks about, the prison system was really put together, was a new form of enslavement. So, right, it changes its form so that it could, look as though things have changed, but really, we know that our numbers are grossly, what's the word?
Understated, out of balance.
Yeah, out of balance compared to whites and others that are imprisoned, compared to the amount of people, like black people that are in America. So, right, has it just changed its form, or is it truly, can we see some level of actual decline?
Right. So, go ahead, Ro. Go ahead.
Cumulative decline.
Yeah, no, I think maybe the question that becomes, the way you put it, racism may be on the decline, but, not a lack of hatred. And what I felt in that was, I think part of the issue we may face as a collective is actually the definition of racism. Right? What do we define and what do we see? Because I personally think that I carry a different definition of racism than most people. And the reason I do is because I went in to dissect racism for myself. So I went into the textbook definition of it. I went into my experiences as a person. But what I found missing from the definition of racism was actually the definition of colonialism. and how it affects an entire population, right? And then I dug into the fact that racism has been defined by Europeans, dictionary-wise, and what we may consider actual racism. If we consider how words and definitions and etymology come into play, that black people didn't define racism. We have experienced what we call racism and have been on the end of experiencing this this colonial existence, but we did not put the definition of racism together. So I think it's interesting that we may all be carrying different definitions of racism. So when you say as a blanket, does racism still exist? Is this a post-racial country? You brought up a very good point. From Prince Harry's viewpoint, it may not exist. From Kamala Harris's viewpoint, it may no longer be because she's the vice president. She may feel that there is no racism in America, but she did say we had to acknowledge its racist past. But that coupled with your answer made me ask the question, then for many of us, what is racism? How do we define it? Because we all may be working from different definitions or points of view.
Well, I remember looking up this definition some years ago, and it was all of us have a prejudice, right? We've all got some prejudice for whatever reason. We don't like something, we don't like somebody, we don't like a group of people because of our own biases. But what separates prejudice from racism is the actual power structure that's included inside of it, right? And that was a part of the actual definition. I remember, though, probably in 2018, they changed that definition.
This is what I'm getting at.
And that definition was lightened a little bit, and it looked more like prejudice in its definition than it did look like in what it's supposed to represent. But now, as I go back to Merriam-Webster online, and I guess after 2020 and all of the whole Black Lives Matter, and they don't want to look, it looks like, okay, we got to put this back in here. So now, number one, a belief that race is a fundamental determinant of human traits and capacities, and that racial differences produce an inherent superiority of a particular race. And then what they start doing, which is very new, and I guess I haven't looked at this dictionary in a long time, they got these different quotes from people now included as examples. And one of them states, because they actually talk about the systematic oppression of a racial group to the social, economic, and political advantage of another, specifically white supremacy.
Hold on one second, Cassie. Roland, we need you to turn your volume down. We're getting extreme feedback from your end. So if you could maybe turn your volume down or just adjust a little bit.
Headphones?
Or grab some headphones and plug them into the side of your laptop. I got you. So just adjust the volume a little bit, but you look great.
I turned it down. Is that good enough?
Yeah, that's wonderful. That's
it's
wonderful.
Better.
That's
it's
much
definitely
better. Thank you so much.
So yes, they have, and now they've kind of updated this, but then they have all of these different people and their quotations, so you can kind of maybe gather for yourself which one satisfies you.
Yeah, and that's kind of what I'm getting at, Rowan. And I want to let you go. I firmly believe that we are at some point operating off of different definitions and points of views as to what racism is. And, mine has expanded over the years. And personally, I believe that if you are European in this power structure, right? And I don't think racism has anything to do with being nice or not nice or a good person or spiritual person. I think racism is it's in a social construct. And so if you were living in the Western world and you are European, even if you're a nice person, you are a racist. And that is a hard position, because in the beginning, racism has to do, for them, it's also colonial, right? So at every point, I'm trying to turn you into me. I'm not trying to let you be who you were or what you were meant to be on the planet. Every turn, I need you to speak English. I need to educate you. I need to put you in my schools. I need you to further my society, Western society. And anytime you are working specifically to uphold Western society and Western society values with a race of people or a group of people who were not Western, were not born to uphold Western principles in society, to me, that is included in the definition of racism. Whether you, I think we have, including why Europeans get so upset, is because they make racism an emotional issue. Like if I didn't call you out of your name, or if I didn't if I didn't hurt you, or I didn't put a cross or burn a cross on your lawn, then I'm not racist. It's like how Sharon Osbourne was feeling last week. You know, if I didn't trip you at the L stop, if I didn't, say the N word. And so racism is a complex web and system that's put together to hold melanated people in a European thinking pattern. And so even if I'm teaching you to use Tupperware, right, or if I go in, this is how they conquered part of the continent, right? They were very nice missionaries. We were nice, give you rice, give you water, but we're going to teach you how to be
and the Bible.
Western and the Bible. And so the idea of racism unfolding as more than me redlining you or not giving you access. Like we look at the negative emotional side of racism. We don't look at the positive emotional side of racism, right? Or the good feelings that racism elicits. So what do you think about that, Ro?
Well, I think you're absolutely right. I think that there is, in listening to what you're saying, I think that when I speak about it, I'm speaking from a structural point of view in terms of access in our government, access in other areas. I know that, our system is not perfect, but I do think that, the racism that we had in the 60s in terms of public policy and things that would make it difficult for Black people to maybe get into corporate America, those things have changed on some level. I think that we have to acknowledge it. And I think that you're absolutely right. We are coming from different points of view. Like, I think that part of the reason why, for example, it's difficult for us to agree on what freedom is because freedom is relative to different people. And, my definition of freedom may be different if I'm not living in a circumstance that would be obvious to me that I'm locked up. You know what I'm saying? So there are a lot of different points of view. I guess for me, as a person, racism, I'm done fighting that battle. I've spent as much time fighting that battle as I'm going to fight. So for me, I know that it's present. I know that it exists. It just doesn't exist in my world. Right now, I'm not chasing racist cops or people that call me nigga or whatever. I'm chasing a market share of our community.
Yeah. And
that's where my focus is. So I oftentimes don't run into racist people. They may be racist, but because I'm not looking for it and it doesn't fit in my vision going forward, it's irrelevant to me even when I bump into it.
So you're attracting something different when with the people that surround you, no matter what they were beforehand. Once they come into your presence, it's a different energy that's going to be exchanged because of your walk. We talk about this. We and Sadeek talk about this all the time, on the show about that. That's kind of one of my missions for our people is walking in your divine self, walking in your light. And saying that might sound a little bit out of this world, but when we kind of drill down to the types of practices that you can start instilling into your life, you will start to have a different world around you. You will start bringing different types of people around you. You'll start bringing different types of energy. You will find things that are going to serve you and in ways that you'll be able to give back as well. But
yes, I that's so profound. And to your point, racism doesn't serve me when I'm trying to conquer the world.
Come on.
And, oftentimes the best example I can give you is that people say, when they're not from Chicago, and I mention if I'm out of town and I say I'm from Chicago, they may say, oh, you live in Chirac.
Right.
And I say, no, I don't live in Chirac. I live in the kingdom. And inside my world, people ain't getting shot. People ain't dying. It may happen, but it usually happens when I'm not there because I'm mentally just not there. So, whatever we choose to focus on, we have I think that we bump more into it.
Yeah.
And so I'm not saying that battle isn't real. It's just that I've graduated in my thinking to a point where I've realized that battle, and there's some people going to be fighting that forever. I want to chase a market share.
Yeah.
And whatever it looks like to do that, that's what I'm on.
I'm just glad you brought up that whole piece in regards to Chirac, and that's not, a part of your world. And in actuality, just really quickly, a good brother named Dilla, who does Chicago urban history on Instagram, actually stated that only 9% of Chicago actually deals with that violence and shooting that we hear about on the news and across the national media. So just keep that, just a little tidbit for you guys. Only 9% of big old Chicago actually deals with that. The rest of 91%, clean and free for you to go ahead.
I would argue that 9% that's dealing with that are dealing with it 90% of their time.
Yes.
So let me ask this. Let me ask this, Roland and Cassie, because I love where you're headed. But I want to parse this discussion, and this may take us up to the break. So, Roland, you graduated in your thinking, right? And not from any type of nobody else has the capability to do this, right? In your world, it doesn't exist. And I feel the same way because I think that we buy into things that have been said. So, for instance, I have been on the continent. I have been in forums with people who were born in Africa, live in America. And I personally, right, in my personal interactions, I'm talking about one-on-one, have never had someone born on the continent say, I don't like Black Americans. But the narrative is Africans born on the continent don't like us. But I've never had, and I've had people invite me into their homes. I've had them go out of their way to literally clean and prepare their kitchen so they can make vegan food based on this young Black boy born in America, right, who has an affinity for Africa. So personally, I don't live in the narrative that we don't like Africans and Africans don't like us. So I understand that concept wholeheartedly. But when it comes to, let's take racism and violence, you brought up, hey, I don't live in Chirac. Is there a way in an honest question and fair, balanced way, is there a way to get the community there? Is that just a space for you to live in? And this is for you and Cassie to both tackle. Again, we've got a few minutes before the break, but in all honesty, right, if it takes a shift in mindset to not live in the violence and apparent racism, right? Because again, we're tackling, everybody's got a different definition. How do I get to that space so that we aren't crying on the news every weekend, enough is enough? We don't have to, right? How do we get out of this space of it being present in certain pockets, places, all over, however you want to define it? How do we graduate from it? And maybe that's something we tackle after the break, right? Because we've got 2.5 minutes. So I want you and Cassie to kind of, whatever you got to do, meditate on that, think on that, because it is an interesting piece. And I think we're at a pivot point, and I say this every week. I think we're having discussions that we don't normally have. And I think for us to be responsible spiritually, professionally, politically, I think we have to start putting things on the table that we don't normally discuss, because if we continue to do the same things that we do or have been doing and we expect a different result, we are communally insane. If you continue to do the same thing over and over again and expect a different result, that is the definition of insanity. So how do we move out of what appears to be just an insane concept, right? Like this, whatever's going across the nation, whatever is happening, how do we redefine it for ourselves and use our own power to move past what's happening in the streets, what's going on. So you talked about graduated in your thinking. As we go to break, I want you and Cassie, when we come back, to attack this idea of, does it have to be in our world? Is it just you that has the ability to lift yourself mentally out of it? And if it's a skill of mentally preparing our space, how do we teach it to the community so they can graduate from it as well? So we're going to go to break. I want you guys to tackle that on the other side. You're on the green side of things with Sadeek
and Cassiopeia.
We need you to like, comment, and share. We need you to do it right now. Bring some more people around the lunch table as we continue to discuss, is America no longer a racist nation? We'll do that. You're on the green side of things. We'll see you on the other side.
WIIFTBPM. WIIFTBP. Media's just for you and me. WIIFTBP. Media's just for you and me.
Listening to the most dangerous show in the morning.
The Fraternal Order of Police. It is the president, John J. Catanzara Jr.
We all saw the Anjanette Young video.
Naturally, when someone hears, I didn't do it, you got the wrong place, you just discard it. You have an obligation to make sure that the rest of the place that you're doing a search warrant on is secure.
Okay, so you used the word naturally. And when you watch that video, naturally, a natural reaction would have been to provide her with some coverage for her naked body.
Have you ever been to police?
And so
have you ever been to police?
Let me finish my question. So a natural reaction was not what we saw from those white police officers.
A natural police reaction is to secure the scene.
So a natural police reaction is different from a natural
Well, we're
human
talking
reaction.
about police. We're not talking about you going into a building. We're talking about the police going into a building.
Hence why in the beginning of the question, I related it to training. Are police officers trained to not see black people as human? And so police training would make them naturally react to see me as an animal?
I'm not even going to dignify that with an answer because that's just an ignorant statement to make. They went in there looking for an offender.
Who was not there.
Do you know that until you searched the whole place?
They did. They searched and she stood there naked.
And at that point...
After they had the scene secure, she still stood there naked.
Again, I already conceded the fact that they could have did a better job covering her up. But her race had nothing to do with it. And you're going to keep implying it. I'm going to keep telling you you're absolutely wrong.
Let me ask you a question. Of training? Is it a lack of proper training?
No.
Oh, my bad. I keep telling you, you got the wrong place. You got the wrong place.
The most disrespected person in America is the black woman. We will kill you for our woman.
Sissy's Taco Bar Pop-Up is back with more hours and more days. Check them out at their new pop-up location at The Woodlawn, located 1200 East 79th Street. Sissy's Taco Bar offers authentic street tacos infused with international soul. Now every Tuesday, Thursday, Friday, and Saturday at The Woodlawn from 12 p.m. to 7 p.m. New vegan tacos have been added to the menu too. Visit sissytacobar.com for more info.
You've been looking for me.
Hello? Yeah, I'm on the radio show right now. We don't like who's this? Oh, what up, man? I need to talk to you. Yeah, I'm doing a radio show and we're on break. So, yeah. You're gonna have to Yeah. I know the whole thing.
Welcome back. Let's put him on mute. You're on the green side of things with your man Sadeek.
And Cassiopeia.
Yes. And we have with us today businessman, community activist, and all of our technology working during this coming back in. We have Mr. Ro Davis with us today. Everybody's on additional calls and what have you during the show. So we need you to like,
comment,
and share. We need you to do it right now and bring some more people around this lunch table.
Sadeek.
Come on back from getting your sandwich. Hopefully it's plant-based. Getting your sandwich and come on back and sit down. We are having this point of view discussion about racism in America, according to our vice president. And congratulations to her again since January. She made the emphatic statement
Hold on. I got to address this. You sounded a little bit like Ro Davis.
I'm hoarse. I got my Ro Davis voice on. So
what he be saying? What he be saying when he go live by himself?
Everybody, welcome to YouTube, Facebook. It's your man Ro. So anyway, I sound a little bit like Ro Davis today, but welcome back to the lunch table, you all. Welcome back to the green side of things. Please like, comment, and share, and join the discussion. I brought up before this, Brother Davis was saying that not racism, but he was talking about community violence, the side effects or the symptoms of racism don't really exist in his world. It's not his focus. He's gone about as far as he could go with that and had graduated in his thinking. And so my question was, is this a system that we could share with the community and maybe pockets of the west side and south side, particularly some of the places, South Shore. Can we put them through this program so they can graduate too and pull some of that awful policing out of the community? But in all seriousness, and Cassie, I know you are a fan of using our inner spiritual powers, right, to move us forward and not necessarily always focus on external circumstances. So how do we do that? How do we graduate, Ro, not as individuals, but how do we graduate collectively to get to the point where we can move past or move as you have into another sphere?
That's a great question. I would argue that we will never move past it if we don't graduate. Because those things will always exist somewhere, but they just don't have to exist in our world. And I think that when we understand how the universe works and we understand the power of belief and power of focus, I don't really know how we get around the reality that some of our people in our community face unless the leaders, I'm talking about those people that write the news, that make the news, I think that we've got to change the narrative. But I think in order for us to do that, we've got to change our own narrative. So that's what I'm focused on right now. And somewhere, I believe in that process, I'm looking to have enough influence and enough capacity, if you will, to spread that message. But beyond that, we will always live in a conundrum of our beliefs. And those things are real to us, just like what I'm saying is real to me. But I just don't think, I think that if we're waiting for white people to say, hey, I love you as a group, and hey, this shit ain't gonna happen. You know, I think that it's a place that we've got to lift ourselves out of. It will begin with our leaders, people like yourself, myself, and others who make a choice. I chose to graduate from racism. I chose it because when I looked at the fight and I looked at the people in it, a lot of us that chase that rabbit end up broke. And they end up in pain, intrigued by the oppression. It's almost like oppression porn or something. You know, I see the stuff happening. I just ain't indulging in it no more. And I think it's really different. I'm tired of it, you know?
Yeah. Yep. So, right. For me, I think it works like this. No individual can wait for somebody else to do it for them. So in order to start practicing what Ro and I are talking about and graduating from racism or graduating from living, you know, a life filled with pain and trauma and everything that in all its iterations that it shows up like or expresses itself as, you have to start with yourself. Period. You got to start with yourself. I'm going to say it again. Period. You have to start with self. And that means doing simple work, right? It's not necessarily someone doing it for you or someone working on you or giving you a pill. It starts with, okay, all right, what's going on with me? Let me find out what my trauma is. I would say even start with therapy. And then you can juxtapose that with meditations and life guides and shadow work. You have other, I forget the other process that people go through that help them get on their own path. It could be some spiritual work and learning what your particular destiny is on this planet. So it starts with you and doing all that self-work first. It's all about you, period. It's not about what someone's doing to you. It's not about what someone else isn't doing. It starts with you, right? Then the third thing is stop worrying about other people, right? So again, I kind of said this before, but worrying about, well, they're not joining me and they're not thinking like me. And this person is affecting me. And this person is making me do other things that I don't want to do. No one, unless they got a gun up to your head or have like literally have bound you, no one makes you do anything. No one makes you feel anything. You are responsible and accountable for all of your emotions, for all of your actions. Period. You may not like what someone has done, and after you don't like it, you feel an emotion, but they didn't make you feel that emotion. That's your response. So I would even say for people, you can start with the book called The Four Agreements. It's a great place to start, and once you kind of get on that path, you can find other, you know, there'll be offshoots that'll, you know, kind of keep connecting you to help you on your journey. After, again, you've kind of figured out it ain't nobody else's problem but yours, or not, this journey is only yours, then you can start living that out loud, right? So once you start learning it and understanding more about yourself and dealing with your trauma and becoming a more accountable and responsible person for all of your actions and feelings, then you can actually kind of walk in that path and live out loud. If you're a social media person, start saying those types of things on social media. If you're not, that's fine. Just be the best you amongst your family, friends, peers, and colleagues at all times. And you, again, are not here necessarily to point your finger and tell other people you need to do what I do. Just be the example. When you're walking in your light and your trauma is lessening day by day and you feel good and you're happier and people's opinions and things and judgments that they might say to you, you're now just able to just hear them and listen and not necessarily say, you did this to me. They'll pick up on that. And either the people who want to change themselves will then start to inquire what you've done, or they're going to move around, right? And they won't want to be in your space anymore, again, which makes your world even better. And then again, I'm going to say it again. This is the last piece. Don't worry about what anybody else is doing. Once you start worrying, you are now back in the same vicious cycle that you were in before. And I think that actually kind of on a grander scale, as Ro was talking about, if you're concerned and worried about when white folks are going to actually stop being nice to you, then now you're back in that same rut. And you're now outside of yourself and your walk, your destiny, your purpose. And as we keep doing that, more light bulbs in our people will start being turned on. And then others will start to say, okay, I'm seeing all this light around me. I want to get this light. And those who don't want the light, let them go and fade into the darkness. And you mind your business and you let them be who they want to be.
I love it. I love it.
Can I just add?
No, please go ahead, bro.
I think Cassie is spot on. I would even go so far as to argue that people are showing up and disappearing in our lives.
Yeah.
In direct proportion to what we believe and what we expect.
Come on.
I would say that you won't even be able to get that close to me if you're not living in my conversation. Life is a conversation.
Yeah.
So the answer for those people who are deciding or trying to figure out how to get or graduate, if you will, from the world that they're in to the world that they would like to be in, change your conversation.
So
Life is a
Yeah.
conversation.
Yes.
Because we built a circumference of what we believe in our conversation.
Yeah.
I love it. So let me go here because I have one question, but I want to back up to a question that's been asked in the comments. And I love your point, Ro, about it was your choice to graduate, right? It was your choice to, change your energy, change the conversation that you're in, and then people, places, circumstances, events rearrange themselves based on your choice, right? So I'm really feeling that, and in terms of what Cassie was saying, laying out, these steps and including don't worry about what other people think or don't worry about other people, right? Being this final step. But one of the comments in the section here of people, again, we appreciate you listening and paying attention to the show, is, do you feel we chose slavery? And that is people have, Cassie and I have had similar discussions, and she's not talking about in some sort of negative way. We purely in this discussion of choice, right? This discussion of I graduated, I'm in a different place. Did millions and millions and millions of people, because caught in that reality, right? Whatever that reality was, did we choose slavery based on? Because if you can choose to get out, it was also, I'm going to go with the flip of it. If you can choose to get out, it was a choice to get in for discussion's sake. So curious to what you think about that. I'll start with you, Ro. Did we choose slavery?
I don't know that anybody in their right mind would consciously choose slavery, but I would argue that it was definitely in the cards. And if we could zoom out, it may be a part of a process in terms of building a people to have dominion over the world. And so I believe that, it was a part of a process. And, it definitely was the Creator's will. I think that, I don't know that anybody today will consciously choose to be in a bad position, but I do know that breakdowns create breakthroughs. And sometimes that experience of being down can become a catalyst to go to the heights of our potential. As screwed up as our world, our reality, having been a part of that experience and the desire to transcend it has brought out of our people a spirit that I think that is undeniable. I'm not saying that we couldn't have gotten there otherwise. I wasn't born then, so I can't speak to it. I can only say in this moment, in this hour in 2021, I'm not choosing slavery, I'm choosing prosperity.
That's right. So, right, that's a deep question, and I don't think it has a very simple answer. Of course, it's like Ro is saying, no one in their right mind chose it. But I think as it comes to universal agreements, I believe that there is a cause and effect to everything, or there's a consequence for every choice that we do make. Mm-hmm. And as it may seem, as the way we have analyzed history for ourselves, there's a set of our ancestors that seem to have broke a covenant and had lost the way, their particular way, what anchored them to this planet and what gave them prosperity. They broke it. And with that, unfortunately, that type of breaking a covenant doesn't just affect them, it affected all of their people. And we are the descendants of that. And from there, once the missionaries came, the Bibles came, the different types of ways came, the guns came, the gold in which the way that Europeans presented it came. And now we are outside of what was working for our peoples, because there were lots of nations involved in the transatlantic slave, process. And even the colonialism that happened prior to that. So from that, there is a portion that there is some responsibility of our DNA that I think that we can start talking about and accounting for, because when you start to go on a spiritual path, you start to realize and you learn that the faults of your ancestors are now yours. And if we aren't willing to correct that, then we will continue to succumb to it. So taking the time now to start getting back to that time frame where that covenant was broke and finding a way for us to mend it back together again so that we can pull ourselves up out of it. Because the other aspect of it is when we start talking about colonialism or just warring nations, period, that's before Europeans, like Africans was warring with each other. What do you call them? The Persians were warring with each other. Whatever level of Asiatic people were warring with each other, but willing to fight. So what happened even to our fight during that time before getting over here? And actually in Shaka Zulu, they kind of break that down what ended up kind of happening, because the Europeans weren't able to actually, with Shaka Zulu's his army, they weren't able to physically take on West Africa. But because they worked at that thing and slowly got them to keep drinking this Kool-Aid, they were able to lose their, drop your guard. And then after that, and then they started making friends with all of his enemies. And boom, now we are here today. So we have to start. I think it'd be to our benefit to start thinking about those covenants that was broken and praying upon that, meditating upon that, connecting with our ancestors as best as possible. And I say this, and I don't want to sound like some gypsy, you know what I'm saying? But it's real though. It's very serious. It's very real. And this is something, and that's a part of your self-work. Because the more you do your self-work and your divine work and finding out what your destiny is, it then starts to connect back into the larger responsibility of us all. And once we all are back into that divine space, now we'll know how to really connect on a large level to push this thing back into balance. I hope I ain't lose nobody.
No. We, I think the attendance only dropped off by about 50%. But no, in all seriousness, I love that, Cassie, because a part of how I feel and what we have studied, even when you get into ancient Hebraic philosophy. I stay away from theology and religion altogether because this is the real experience of a northeastern African tribe of people. It is handed down in their memoirs that they were always presented with choice. You know, Moses is recording saying to the people, you know, I set before you this day blessings and curses, life and death. But he said, you choose. And then he went further to say, I pray that you choose life. So all throughout the ancient understanding in scriptures, we find that there was always choice. And that the ancient teachings from that northeastern tribe, right, and group of tribes, because we're talking about 12 tribes, when you get into that, right, this family, they have taught over the years that it was actually our misunderstanding and our breaking of a covenant or our choice that led us into certain what we would call modern events, right, or state of relations with the nations around us, because we chose, you know, we were aware and we made a choice, and it's similar to what, you know, I teach about diet, right, and it may sound, and I'm trying, I can't remember the word you use right now, but I think oftentimes that I try not to sound like somebody that's saying something unreasonable, right? Because heart disease is a choice. Diabetes is a choice, right? It's not, you don't wake up and get it, you give it. Now, whether you're aware of the choice, right? These things that we have. And I think that as we begin to examine racism, where we are, economics, our plight, right? That we have to begin to take responsibility. Yeah. And even look at our ancestral responsibility in how we got here. Yeah. You know what I mean? What is the road that paved this way? Because if we're always disease victims, right, then we can't rise above diabetes because it just somehow magically lands in your bed with you at 37, right? If we are always asking for solutions from a Western European political infrastructure, right? In terms of how, if it's always exterior, then how do we move past it? How do we make the choices? How do we graduate? How do we go to the next level if the ability and the choice are not internal? Yeah. And we have full autonomy over whether we do that. You know, I wake up on a daily and almost a weekly basis and examine the fact that once you begin to ask somebody for fair housing, once you begin to ask somebody for clean water, once you begin to ask for these things, you have already acquiesced your power.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Because we were already born free. We were already born sovereign. We were, right? You can't submit paperwork for sovereignty.
Yeah. Right.
You can't.
Right.
Once I get to
That's
filling
something
out.
that's taken.
Once I get to filling out forms, right? And I'm
Well, you
already
give it to yourself. Yeah.
Right. And you don't have to give it to yourself. You're born that way. Right? Like as soon as you came here in this physical form, which I believe you chose to do, as soon as you land here in that physical form, you have the rights and the access to everything on this planet. And that is a huge discussion, right? Because there are certain things like land ownership, individualism, right, that are very new spaces when I talk about this construct or this mind, right? And I believe we absolutely have the spiritual, mental, and physical capabilities to rise above whatever the situation may be. So on the other side of the break, we're going to take a break. I want to come back and talk about what is the goal. What is the goal? Is it integration and access? What are we working towards as we graduate, as we lift ourselves up? So you guys, you're on the green side of things. You're with Sadeek
and Cassiopeia.
We've got Roland Davis with us, and we're talking about is America still a racist nation? And we're going way past that and above that in thought and concept. But we still need you to like,
comment,
and share. Bring some more people around this lunch table, and we'll see you after this break.
WIFTBPM. The Chicago Legal Network is the collaboration of attorneys that concentrate in many areas of the law most needed in Chicago neighborhoods. The CLN lawyers focus on personal injury, criminal defense, and other issues. The CLN lawyers all average over 20 years of legal experience and are dedicated to helping the Chicago community. The Chicago Legal Network is committed to developing black lawyers through mentorship and co-representation. So if you were injured in a car accident, slip and fall, or injured on the job, or you need assistance with criminal defense, including driving violations and DUI, check out ChicagoLegalNetwork.com for more information or call 773-912-3545. 773-912-3545.
Introducing your trusted source for high-quality black emojis, better known as Blackmoji. We believe black is beautiful, and that beauty should be reflected in the digital market. Now there is an app that does just that, starting with Black Greek letter organizations. Blackmoji D9 offers more than an emoji app. It is a cultural experience of black excellence. Download the app in the Apple or Google Play Store to access a specially curated catalog of emojis representing the Divine Nine. Use the emojis to celebrate Black Greek events, acknowledge current events, support social causes, and learn about esteemed Black Greek members who blaze the trail of Black history. A portion of every subscription goes toward a scholarship fund specifically for members of Black Greek letter organizations to help keep them.
We wake up every day to these tests as we strive to be great, and they keep coming, but we gotta persevere, y'all. Yeah, thin line, mastermind, mind of the master. Which one of you have thin line, mind of a god, mind of a captain. Which one of you have thin line, mastermind, mind of the master. Which one of you have thin line, mind of a god, mind of a captain. Every minute I fight with lethargy, striving to be godly, with an intelligence quotient exceeding numerology. Scholar body honorary, school of prophet alum, anthropomorphized lessons so I could become the heartbeat of righteousness, the everyday fight to pump the blood of kings, breathe the breath of life, moving up like Confederates in Yankee territories in the 17th century. But it's a thin line between divinity and iniquity. Mason Dixon hitting in complacent decisions, division between symptoms of a phenom and a psychopath, gifted and asinine. I won't erase that vertical line on an incline that divides them. Climbing out this box in my mind, it's like having altitude sickness on alpine expedition. Genius vision never fixed in on the depth below. Focus talks about tissue and epidermal, fighting for the Holy Spirit to manifest through physics, working to boost this performance through physical fitness. Sees the drive towards greatness within. Mediocrity begins the extinction of potential in men. Time becomes fossilized, energies occupied, trying to survive with a 9 to 5 or a 5 to 5 for overtime, under time management by the bandit. Energizing his expansion like fossil fuel for the think tank, driven by your nemesis in the duel for your medulla to influence your lineages. I think out the box like addiction to prescriptions and limitless. Without the
Welcome back. You are on the green side of things. It's your man Sadeek.
And Cassiopeia.
Yes. And we are talking with our brother, our friend, entrepreneur / activist / thought leader, Mr. Roland Davis is with us today.
And speaking of, so I thought that you told me that the guest that we was gonna have on the show was gonna be somebody that I was gonna be able to like really spar with, right? So I'm excited, like, yeah, we about to go toe to toe. I don't
now
even know
y'all
who it
agreeing,
is, right? And we all up in the we vibing, you know, right. So because we've been on the same page, I gotta be petty in other ways. Bro, if you don't get that big old shiny head up out the video every time we come off camera, your head be like,
I'm checking my crypto. I'm looking at this phone every few minutes. I'm trying to see what's happening in crypto.
All right now,
I don't know who got choked out, but I do know what the price of that crypto.
Hey, I hope it's going up. I saw that Bitcoin went down 5% yesterday. Is it back up?
I love it. He's in XRP land, so he ain't, you know.
I know.
I
put $10 on a Bitcoin.
Oh, well then you, hey, you doing things. You need to get you some of that XRP.
Okay.
So that's what we need to do. But that being said, Roland's gonna get his head out the camera. If you could just please sit up. If you could just please sit up. Yeah, could you sit up and act like you're interested in the show? Thank you. We would appreciate it. Yeah, it's just like that.
So what I was thinking is that, if you multiply my bald head with the cryptocurrency rates going left and right, we'll all be rich.
Cassie's on fire today. Hey, y'all, listen. We need you to like,
comment,
and share. We need you to do it right now. Please bring some more people around this lunch table. We were talking about America being a post-racial state based on statements. We started with in Britain, where there's no racism in the palace, and then we ended up here in America, where Vice President Kamala Harris had stated that, according to her, America was not a racist nation.
Listen.
And now we were talking with our spiritual brother here, who has graduated from racism and violence, and lives in a different state on a daily basis, which crypto coins are definitely a part of. And his freedom is born through his choice. And then the events around him have been rearranged to reflect the choices that he has made mentally and spiritually. And then we were talking with Cassie, who definitely was along the same lines and suggesting that it's the self-work, it's this inner work that we must do, and not being concerned so much with the exterior events, right, that appear to control us or guide us, but rather that inner light, that inner energy. And if we begin to do it, then other people will see the light, and then they can make a choice, right? And so just sharing that, even going into ancestral choices and examining how we got here. And I'm a huge fan of all of that, because I believe that this is that time where we literally, you will hear me say I'm on sabbatical. I'm neither arguing for or against any type of cultural position, especially if it's a European cultural position, because I'm not European, right? It may work for them. I'm not denying them what works for them, but it has not historically worked for me. So I'm in an examination phase, and I love the fact that we're talking about alternative methods of re-engaging our power.
Yeah.
Right? Re-engaging our ability to change the narrative. Re-engaging our systems in ways that we can catapult ourselves beyond the present circumstances. So to that, one of the questions I asked before the break was, what's the goal?
Mm-hmm.
Right? What's the goal? And I think even Boosie, who is watching the show prior to getting into Cassie's name sounding like Candy, had asked the question, what are we working for? And, my question is, are we working for inclusion and access? I mean, is the goal just being immersed in Western culture and having access to capital and to their business systems? Is that the goal? Or do we not know what the goal is and we're just throwing things against the wall to make them stick? So, Ro, I'll toss that to you. What's the goal?
Well, I think that you bring up very powerful. I think that our confusion around what the goal is where all the divergence is. I think that, when we look, just take the house nigga in the field. I think that the way we define freedom and what the goal is will determine our actions. The guy that's working in the hot sun has a different goal than the guy that's in the house. But when the guy that's working in the hot sun talk about running away, the guy that's in the house think he done lost his mind.
Yeah,
and
right.
That makes sense to him because he's in a different place. And I think that until we can consolidate an idea of freedom that aligns everybody's goals, then it'll be on that point that we will all take different paths. But to answer your question more specifically, I think that freedom would simply be the power to define. And what does that mean exactly? You mentioned it earlier loosely, but, the European has defined for us our reality, what's good, what's bad, what's what. And somewhere inside of our captivity and their power to define, we are totally confused and struggling for power. What type of power? The power to define our lives as we choose. For me, I think freedom, when I look at it on the local level, is the ability to control the movement in and out of the communities that we live, work, and play. I would like to see us own the businesses, which will give us the power to shape the politics, which will give us the ability to round off the borders of our environment and limit some of the things that are contributing to what we call, or they call, Chirac. And I'd like to expand the borders of that to wherever we are, live, and concentrate, that we can control those things. That's it.
So I'm excited because I get a chance to disagree with you just a little bit.
No, you don't.
So I actually don't think we need to consolidate our goals. But where I do agree with you.
Did he say that though?
He used the word.
That we need to consolidate?
He used the word consolidate.
Okay, I'm just asking.
Yeah.
But not quite in the way you use it. But go ahead. Let's see where you're going with this.
Yes,
but
I don't know. Words are words.
I had a feeling you was gonna say it whether you said it or not.
Yeah, thank you, Sadeek. We going. All right. Well, maybe we will get a chance to argue. Go ahead.
Yes, she been waiting on it. So for all intents and purposes, you said it.
Get in the camp.
Yes.
So, for me, but where I do agree, you spoke on something earlier, Ro, is about freedom is relative, right? For everybody. So for me, there's going to be different things that we want. We are the descendants of mostly West African people that come from different nations and tribes. So they weren't all necessarily agreeing all the time. They weren't all necessarily cooperating all the time, but they were empowered within their space. And that's, for me, what I would like to see for our people more than anything. Find your destiny, your purpose, and where your freedom and empowerment comes from. And then you will start to align with your people, because we're so much bigger than just the color of our skin. And when we boil down to it, we all ain't got the same color of our skin color ain't the same. Right? So we can start aligning with the people that are like-minded with us and be Sadeek always trying to what
go on with your point,
we can start aligning with the people that are like-minded with us and start having those groups push forward with community purposes, cultural purposes, and what those subsets are. As I hear you speak, Ro, what you're talking about in regards to market share and to having our own businesses and to shaking up policy, having the correct representation, I'm actually on that path. I think that is a great way. That's not everybody's way. As we talk with Sadeek, hell no.
You want to get the hell out of here.
Yeah, Sadeek gone.
Sadeek gone.
Sadeek is out of here.
Hey, leave in your house when you get up out of here.
Listen.
No problem.
Right. He is on the next ship.
Next thing smoking.
You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Period. And I don't necessarily want that. I would love to have a vacation home, in Israel.
You got it. Well, I'll be in Ghana, but it's cool.
Oh, you'll be in Ghana.
I'll be in Ghana.
Okay, I want it in Ghana
Israel too. I got a house in
Israel, and I want one in Ethiopia,
South Africa,
and probably South Africa. But for me, as an African person of this globe, I think all of it is ours. This entire globe is ours.
I think
our people
so too.
were here, so I don't have a problem with staying on this land. Which means at this particular point, there is still a system that I'm not trying to fight at this in that particular way. So it's like, okay, what can I do in my best power within this capitalistic system is gain more power for our people. But I'm not knocking what Sadeek's doing. I think, okay, how can I at least support that? How can he support what I'm doing? How can we support what you're doing? It doesn't mean that we're completely in alignment with each other, but there is, I think, a respect for each other, and then seeing where we do align. Right? And then also accepting that there might be sets of people that we will completely not align with. Because what happens, no matter how we got here, there are some of our people who have adapted the same way Europeans did when they came out of Africa tens of thousands of years ago and became something different because they're living in the northern cradle. And especially when you're living in a place like Chicago, where half of the year we are living in a very cold environment, our people have changed in their DNA. So some of them ain't gonna be on what we own, and I don't want to line with them. I want them to go,
I feel that.
But I don't want to stop them in what they're doing. I literally just heard.
So let me ask you this.
Hold on, real quick. I just heard on the radio. I just heard on the radio that Chief Keef. And I think it's G Herbo.
Is he out?
Yeah, he in California. He chilling.
Oh, okay.
Chief Keef and G Herbo want to buy because the projects over there on 63rd are being sold.
Okay.
And they want to buy them.
Okay.
Right? Now, I ain't knocking it. Get your property, get your hustle, do your thing. I don't know if I'd want to live there or live like how they live. Oh, no. But I don't want to stop them. No, they are a different type of people than I like to rock with.
Got you.
You know what I'm saying?
I feel that.
I love them.
So we got to come
I
back.
ain't rocking with you. Not in that way. I'd have to see something different.
You bring up some great points.
We don't disagree,
we gotta.
Wait, what you say, Ro?
He not disagreeing with you.
Don't disagree. I
Cool.
don't disagree with your point.
Foiled.
Foiled
again.
We might do that. Come on.
No, listen. No, listen. First of all, I don't agree.
Now
I don't
you're
disagree with Cassie either. Come on. Well, depends on who's watching the show. Let me say this though. you talked about people and their DNA being changed.
Yeah.
And I think the way that we find out which ones of our people, if their DNA has changed, those are the people who no longer have rhythm. If you have a cousin and they cannot do the Casper slide, their DNA has changed.
I get the joke.
No, I'm serious. You think I'm joking?
I know,
but you
but-
gotta find a way to. No, I'm
Right,
I'm
but there's a
teasing.
lot of our
I'm
people.
teasing.
They still get all their rhythm
I know.
and all of that, but
That's
they live a more cold weather type of lifestyle.
I got it.
Which is disconnected, which is not communal.
Right.
It's very angry.
Very.
You know, and it's deep. It's deep. You know what I'm saying? Which is what the transformation of the European took. Like, we gotta, like, also, I think a part of our regaining our covenant is actually owning the fact that white people are us. Real talk. They are our people.
We did something to them.
Something potentially happened to them. They migrated north because they was like, screw y'all. Y'all was on some bull. We going this way. And damn, this way is cold. And in order to be able to survive this, they had to become something different.
I love it. I love it. I love it. I think we have to lay everything on the table.
Yeah.
I think we have to lay everything on the table. Ro, go ahead.
No, I agree with Cassie 1,000%. You know, I know that you have a vision, you know, that our freedom can best be accomplished, you know, away from here. And I do philosophically understand that. But like Cassie, I'm not looking for America to fall. And I don't want to burn this. I'm not saying you do. I don't want to burn this thing to the ground. I got a lot invested here. And, you know, I'm not saying that I don't want to go someplace else to visit, maybe even have another home, maybe even do business. But I have been westernized to a degree, and I'm prepared to own that. That's not to say that I don't feel a connection to the heart of our people. I think that lives within our soul. But for many of us, we've only known America. We've only desired the things that Americans desire. So the very idea that, you know, we're going to go someplace else, some of us will do that. But I don't think that those of us who decide not to are wrong either. Not saying that you say it, but, you know, I do want to speak to that point.
Yeah, well, let me say this. I love the fact that we can sit down and have the discussion, right? Because I was born in America, but I think for me and the people who think like me, the solution is not here, right? Because it is, I live in a concept of reconnecting with ancestry, reconnecting with the best space to reconnect with this universal energy that you can't do in a concrete jungle, right? You can't do it. Like, you got to get on the grass, you got to get in the soil. And I'm a big fan of sovereignty, figuring out how to build my own house, build my own Home Depot, build my own. How do I even cultivate land and feed myself as opposed to a grocery store? So there are a lot of things, but I think a section of us have to do that, right? I don't think we're all built right for this. I don't think it's a point of, you know, I got to drag you with me because you don't want to go, or I got to, you know, it's like, how do we, I love the Black Mall, what Cassie does. I love what you do, Ro, right? Cassie has supported our organic farm in Ghana and projects that we've had in Israel, because some of us do have to reconnect with the motherland. Some of us do have to retrace those waters that are, like, some of us have to walk back through the door of no return, right? And so that just happens to be my calling, what I feel about how we reconnect. And then as we start to respect and learn each other's spaces, right? We put this global net back together that there can be no place that's, because just as I'm in agreement with you. The whole thing belongs to me. So that being said, I've got to be able to plant myself wherever I feel like. There is no place off limits, right? So if I want to reconnect with the continent, right? If I want to repair the relationship between man and the soil, if I want to work at relationships with people who are indigenous to the continent and the diaspora, then that's something that needs to be done. Other than that, it wouldn't even be in my spirit to do it. Right. And so we all have ways that we are working to move past the current plight of our people. And it doesn't limit us to us all doing the same thing the same way, and engaging the same aspects, because we're going to need all of the tools in the toolbox in order to continue to make things happen. And I'm a firm believer of that, and just appreciating the conversation that we are having and have had today. So we only have a couple minutes. What's up?
I'm just seeing the comments from what I was talking about Chief Keef. And Boosie, somebody talking about something. He got a warrant here. Keith can't come to Chicago.
Well, that's why I asked you.
He can own some property though.
Yeah, he can definitely own some property.
He ain't got to come. He ain't got to come here to make money.
Use the virtual real estate locator, Chief.
Come on now,
don't
get
come
it.
into Cook County,
right?
Because we can't promise you nothing if you if you land at
You
O'Hare.
know how far away I am from Keith. I didn't even know he was still making music.
No, I hear that he like runs the industry for like all like drill music. Like if you trying to get in this game, you got to go through him. Like he out there bossing up in California, real quiet. So somebody got him some good advice. He got good advising, and he's doing his thing.
Okay. Well.
Yeah.
Well, shout out to Chief Keef.
I'm actually glad he's not making music.
Yeah, well, and we're glad that he has apparently made a choice and rearranged his world as well. So we want that for all of our people. So listen, you all, Ro, thank you for joining us today. We really appreciate it. We got to have you back because it was an excellent conversation. And these are the types of conversations that we want to have on the green side of things. We want to talk about the natural, the sustainable, and the cultural, and we want to bring it to you in a different form and fashion. Cassie, thank you for today.
Thank you, sir.
Really appreciate you. And you guys out there, and Facebook, YouTube, all of our live viewers, please join us Thursday. We'll have Sister Afrika Porter with us. She is on a mission. She is out there doing a whole lot. What's up before we go? What happened?
Who said, man, none of them could afford to purchase the Parkways. I mean, that was stated too. It was on the Air Lover show on 104.
Oh, okay.
They said Michelle Obama could buy it though.
Yeah, well, maybe she will. I mean, who knows? Hey, according to your vice president, there's no racism in America. Ro Davis made a choice. He's not even experiencing being black anymore. He is a being of the planet.
Come on now.
But you can catch him on 79th Street with a bag of Flaming Hots. Look, it's the green side of things. It's your man Sadeek.
And Cassiopeia.
We'll see you Thursday. And as always, peace.